So if you're not consenting, you just, it means that you can leave. So, but again, welcome. This is the Career Hack series, and we are talking about cracking the UK job market. My name is Edward Enejo. I'm your host. We have a couple of people who'll be joining in across the UK, even outside the UK. That's how we usually get these sessions filled. And we have a list of over 400 people, and this communication went to them all. So, and some of them are already working, some are looking for opportunities, some just want to upskill. And that's why we do this, to help people, irrespective of where they are in the job market. And today we've brought our guest. Our guest is Chinwe. I've known Chinwe. Okay, truth be told, I've not met her in person. I'm not sure I have, but
We met physically, but
yeah, but
we know each other for a while.
yeah, we've known each other for a while and done projects together. Coming to the UK, still doing projects, and looking at what we encounter in the UK job market. It's interesting. But before we get into all of that, right? I know people are coming. Thank you, Pelumi, for joining here today. So wherever you're joining in from, just put in the comment section where you're joining in from and how you feel about today. So I'm just going to start off right by asking you, Chinwe, what are you thankful for and what are you excited about?
Oh my God. I'm thankful for the gift of being someone else's, of being the opportunity for someone else to learn. So I'm thankful for the challenges I've gone through. I'm thankful for the times that I struggled and I didn't, I'm just thankful for that journey, so that someone else, through my experience, through my challenges, will not have to repeat the same mistakes that I made. It's a good thing. So there's a saying that we learn by experience. I would say try not to learn from yours.
Yeah,
Allow someone else to make that mistake and learn from them if you can, avoid it. Yeah. So that's what I'm thankful for today.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about this once again. And like I say, so one of the things you want to do is like learn how not to do something so that you can do it right. And what we're learning here today from people's experience and all of that, I applied for over 600 jobs on LinkedIn alone, and the job I have now, I didn't get from LinkedIn. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody else needs to apply for 600 jobs. For most part of it, I was doing it wrong. So it's not that, it's a number of applications you make. But if you get it right, you don't need to go through all of that. So thank you for joining us, Chinwe. Can you just walk us through who you are, your background, what you have done? Did you just arrive on this planet as a project manager, and what you're doing, and just let us get to know you, okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Edward, for having me. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be able to share my experience in the job market. So my name is Chinwe Ohoji. I am a project manager. What you will describe as an accidental project manager, because you know how as a child they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow? I think every other week or every other semester I had a different response, but there were roles that were very clear that I wasn't going to do. So I knew I was never going to be a doctor. I knew I was never going to be a nurse. I knew that much was clear. But everything from an event manager to a lawyer to I gave all the response, all the usual. Even a dancer, I gave all the usual responses.
Amazing.
Yes, but I started my career at by the time I got to university. Now I was sure I was going to do something in communications, because I realized something that I loved so passionately was writing. I was very good with writing. I was the one people go to for, oh, can you help me with my essays? Yeah. So I studied linguistics and communication at the University of Port Harcourt, and then I went on to work as in the hospitality industry, supporting outdoor catering, leading outdoor catering events as the coordinator.
Wow.
I don't cook, I just organize. So organizing
Amazing.
outdoor catering events. I did a bit of marketing. I did a bit of everything really until, so that helped to build, what I didn't know was happening was it was building my entrepreneurial skills.
Hmm.
So by the time I was like 24, 25, I was a good negotiator. I remember
Wow.
when I was working, it was a well-known fast food. Um, when some of my boss's friends would walk up to them, oh, we have this event, could you give us a quotation? He would deliberately send them to me because, as a friend, he might want to, they might bully him into giving them,
Yeah.
quotations, but when they come to me, like, I'm friends. Yes,
Amazing.
that helped to build my entrepreneurial skills in that area:
Hmm.
marketing, communications, negotiation, budgeting. I did not know that was happening, by the way. I thought I was just doing
Wow.
my job. And then eventually there was a role that opened up for a communications manager at an innovation hub. And I applied, I got it. 3 months later, I got promoted to hub manager. Now, in this position, I was supporting startups from ideation to at launch, helping them figure out their value proposition, just basically providing all the support, and also with their communications as well. So I was doing
Yeah.
that. Wow. And then interestingly, my boss was the one that recommended he did see an opportunity as a project coordinator somewhere, and he said, you
Hmm.
need to apply for this role. I feel you can do this. You're what more than, I'm like, is this guy chasing me away? What's wrong with me?
Wow.
Am I so bad? But
Interesting.
yeah, but then I looked at the job description. I was like, nah, I can't do this. Now that's when imposter syndrome came in. Like, I
Wow.
have to do analysis. I have to do design project log
All those
frame.
big words.
What are those? What are those things? I have to, write proposals. Yeah, I've done a couple of proposals, but nothing at that level because we're talking about international development now at this point.
Hmm.
And I applied for that role in fear, went for both interviews in fear, and I got the job. So that was the beginning of my foray into project management. So I started as a project coordinator. So I didn't just go straight to being a project manager. A year later, I got promoted to project manager, to that of a project manager. And then another year after that, I got promoted to senior project manager and led the entrepreneurial portfolio of that organization. So yeah, that's how I became
Wow.
project manager.
So I mean, you said you started out, you said that you were an accidental project manager, meaning that you leverage on transferable skills, linguistic communication.
Yeah,
You were just following your curiosity,
yeah.
events coordinator, working in the fast food, and all of that. And eventually you became a project manager. So where are you working right now? What do you do? How did you even transition? Is it that you appeared in the UK, or for those who don't know you, I want to tell that story, because transitioning to the UK job market, it's like you're going to, like, from class one again, even if your experience is X number of years old, how you navigate and adapt. So how did you do all of that?
Okay, so I currently work at the NHS, or with the NHS, as a project manager. Interestingly, I thought I was going to, be a project manager in the IT space. So even if it was going to be NHS, but more like working on IT projects, but I'm more on the clinical side. You see, the hospital I was running away from, it finally found me. Um,
Interesting.
yes, yeah. So coming to the UK, I moved here maybe about 3 years ago now, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in my mind, I mean, I had achieved what I would almost describe as the apex of my career in the international, not necessarily apex, but I was up there.
Yeah.
As having attained the role of senior project manager in the international development space. That's not really
Mm.
something that, is very easy to come by.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was a big deal. And when I came to the UK, I was like, okay, fine. I carried my Nigerian CV as it was, just updated it, senior project manager and all that. And I kept applying for jobs,
Yeah.
and I wasn't getting any. It was, oh my God, it was a scary time for me.
Wait, you didn't get any. I don't get it. You didn't get feedback, even just interview.
No, for like the sort of roles that I wanted, because I was going straight for project management roles. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting not even
Wow.
a, yeah, aside from the automated thank you, we'll get back to you, or the recruiters are reading profile, da, 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 da. If we don't hear back from us the next 2 weeks, we apologize. Those are the standard emails
Wow.
I was getting. And so the good thing about me is I'm someone who's not afraid of challenges. I'm not afraid to unlearn and
Yeah.
relearn. And so I wanted to understand, what is it that they're looking for
Mm-hmm.
that I don't have, or how am I presenting myself that
Mm.
doesn't seem to be making sense for the recruiters and the hiring managers. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did do I started applying for lower level jobs,
Mm-hmm.
because again, man has to pay rent, right? That's one.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
but aside from that, I also wanted to like assimilate, to sort of understand how they relate, how they speak. It's so when you go to Rome, behave like the Romans. So I needed to
Yeah.
understand how the Romans were behaving in this sense. And so
Mm.
I did, work in the retail industry here for a while.
Yeah.
And that taught me, something. So things that,
Wait. You know why I have to pause you there? Because it's after your X number of years of experience, over a decade, because I mean, I,
yeah,
I have that privilege of
yeah,
association. I know that you were a senior project manager.
yeah,
You came to the UK, received the unfortunate list after that portfolio you managed, after, I mean, millions of pounds budget portfolio projects,
yeah,
and you're not going to retail. I
true.
mean, why did you do that? Like, yeah, you got bills and all of that. How did you manage that? Because I know people like, there are people like, I can't do that. I can't go down and all of that. Did that reduce you in any way?
No, because again, you need to understand. Sorry, I'm going to sound a bit religious here. You need to understand that I'm a Christian. So
Mhm.
how I view life is, anybody I'm working for God. So I saw that business as belonging to God. So I'm still working for my father. So that made that decision very
Mm.
easy in my mind. But
Yeah.
secondly, I mean, I've come to the UK. I need to understand how people interact. I need to
The
understand
rules of
how
the
they
game here.
think. I need to understand how they make management decisions, because
Yeah.
you can sit at home and assume that people don't like you, or people don't, would not accept your application because of your name, but it's
Mm.
not your name. So it's for me to go out there and sort of understand
Mm-hmm.
the thought process behind how decisions are being, made. And so
Amazing.
and not just that, there were areas that I thought I was also deficient in.
Mm.
Interestingly, like I said, my first degree is in linguistics and communication, but I don't like to talk. I prefer to write. I'm a writer. I can
Wow.
make 10,000 word proposals. I'm good to go. But I did not know how to. I wasn't. I knew how to speak to people, but I wasn't comfortable speaking to people. So
Mm.
again, I like to see the good elements in the things that I do. And
Yeah.
so I felt, if I'm in this position, it will force me to improve in this area. It will force me to build my self-confidence in
Yeah.
public speaking and interacting with the public.
Mm.
Even yeah, so that's why I did get that. I did take that job.
So, I mean, thank you so much for being vulnerable with us. And again, for those who are just joining, this is Marketly Hub. This is career hack series, and we have held sessions like this. Interestingly, we have one of our past guests who joined us here. She also works with the NHS. Her name is Shope Oluyemi. She's an author. She's relationship counseling and all of that as well. So she is here. Please say hi. All right, and she's joining us from the
Thank you.
UK
Thank
here.
you, Chiwe. Thank you, Edward. I'm having fun already.
Thank you so much. So, and wherever you're joining us from here, right? We're very authentic here. So I apologize. I'm just being real here because I did customer service work. I was answering phone, as in after managing million portfolio project, coming here, selling insurance on the phone for 6 months. I said I'll be there for 3 months. I was there for 6 months, and it took me 14 months before I landed my job. in the UK. So it was a long time, and it's a lot. People don't say this, but man, it breaks you. Right, you have those dark nights. It's only you and your pillow that understand the thoughts, the tears, and all of that. And but it's okay. It's a journey. It's not a destination. There's a song that said, "If you're going through hell, don't
Don't
stop."
stop. Yeah.
The only crap is when you stop, and then you'll be in hell. It's a journey, right? So, and I like what you said. You learn communication skill. You learn to build self-confidence. These are skills that you trade with in the market.
Yeah.
And those things now help you. So how did you now, you can talk about other skills you gathered, and how did you now transfer them and learn to communicate your previous experiences, even as a project manager in the UK? Because there's a way you can say, they'll just look at you, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So again, for me to talk about those transferable skills, I need to give you the paint the picture of the sort of environment that I worked in. So it was retail. I was, customer service. So what that means is I'm doing conflict resolution. Oh, I don't like this product. I bought it 2 years ago and I like to return it. It's my right to return it. That sort of thing. So you have to, learn how to de-escalate those sort of situations, even when the customer is in the wrong. But you have to deal with. I learned to deal with those sort of situations with tact and diplomacy. I thought I was a diplomatic person. The British have mastered the art of diplomacy, and there are no better set of people to learn from, to be honest.
Yeah.
So looking at how my colleagues were de-escalating issues, I picked up on that. In terms of communication, it's hi, how are you? Oh, it's been a while. Like, just be open to people, just be nice, just be make them feel welcome, make them feel like they're the most important thing in person in the world right there at that moment. Those are things that I learned from, and I realized that people feed off of that positive energy. I had the other day I was telling my friend that interestingly, somehow I sort of missed that job because people would walk up to me because of how I now became more self-confident in my approach with how I speak to people. They would tell me like personal things. At some point I thought I was like my customers, like therapists. I knew about the boyfriends in China and all that. I knew everything.
Oh my gosh. They want to really talk with people. Like, I agree with you there. I remember one time, so when I was going through this job, I was customer service, so I learned to talk a lot. In as much as I was a trainer, facilitator, I thought I had all the skill. But when I got into customer service, I learned the art of listening.
Yes.
The act of communication afresh.
Yes.
So one of the things that helped me, and you're going to love this, anybody who is here, and I tell people all the time, people who I coach and all that go into a supermarket and see that lady at the till or that guy, ask them, oh, I'm sure you can't wait to close. What do you have as plans after you close? They will tell you the movie they'll watch. They'll tell you they are going to see their friend. They'll tell you how they'll take their dog out for a walk or their cat. You now realize that these people are just like you and
just
me.
like you. Yeah.
It's just, but you see, because we are not used to talking, or we talk in maybe pidgin English or a native language, we don't like the sound of our voice in our head. We're like, no, it's not sounding all right, and all of that.
Me.
Yeah, it happens to you too. Please,
just
if it happens to you
described
here, please let us know in the comment section. Let's know you're not alone. We're all together in this thing. So I mean, these things are very powerful. And like you said, something, and you're going to pick up from where you stop, is you're learning conflict resolution. And the reason I want you to highlight this, because I'll say this to give context. There's a lady who went for a job and she had been taking care of her kids for, I think 3 years. Look at how, as a mother, career gap and all of that. And she went for interview and she read everything and she was like, I can't take this job. And somebody that knew her, like, you're very smart, you're good with people, you go for this job. And the person just gave me your CV and the person rewrote it and highlighted the skill she had. Conflict resolution. She had 4 kids, stubborn kids, fighting each other. That was conflict resolution. She had planning and all of that. You take this to daycare, bring this. So plan. She highlighted all of those skills that we all of us know, right? All of us know. And as she outlined it, she went for the interview. And guess what? She got the job. So it talks about that transferable skill. And that's why I like what you're saying here, conflict resolution in the seemingly, in quotes, mundane things.
Yeah.
And these skills, those don't know corporate, the skill is the skill. It works in Africa, it works in China, it works in the UK.
True.
Irrespective of the job you have used it for, whether security, whether healthcare, whether cleaning, whether customer service, wherever you have used it, it's still the same skill. And I like the way you are talking about that. So please tell us more about the skill and how you have used them to also buttress your experience and all of that.
Yeah. So it wasn't. So why I highlighted conflict resolution and communication in particular is because it comes up on almost every interview that I attended. So they always ask for examples and they wanted like real life scenarios of where I'd applied those skills. So I remember during one particular interview, and they said, "Oh, give me, paint a scenario of how you've applied your conflict resolution skills to, de-escalate a situation, and what was the result." Sometimes I might not even add what was the result, but you would have to add that, at the end. And I shared this particular example about a lady who had bought a product that, probably a year or 2 years ago. And of course, the policy is that you can exchange it up till, I think, 3 months or 21 days. I can't remember exactly. So 2 years is like, and she even went on holiday with it, came back and just thought to return it now. Ordinarily, I mean, I'm well within my right to say, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing I can do." Like, that's it. Like, this is 2 years. Excuse me, it's 2 years. And I looked at the package. I saw that, to be honest, maybe it had been used, but it looked like it's something that could still be accepted by the company. But I knew that they were not going to, because again, it's 2 years. So I asked her, because you need to make these people, make them feel seen, make them feel acknowledged, like, you're in their shoes and you understand how they feel. And so I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. Have you got the receipt by any chance? Like, oh my God, no, darling. I left it. I can't even find it. That is one of my bags. I said, oh, okay. So the thing is, without that receipt, personally, I would not be able to resolve this issue for you. I won't be able to process the refund. However, let me see if there's something my supervisor can do. Of course, I knew what my supervisor would be able to do in that situation. But again, it's acknowledging their pain. It's empathizing with them, and then it's also showing that proactiveness from your own end that you're willing to resolve that issue for that person at that time. And so I walked up to my of course, before going, because now there's a queue, behind that, that, just apologizing to the people on the queue. Oh, please bear with me. I'll be back 1 second. I just need to quickly resolve this issue. Grab your line supervisors, talk to them about it. And of course, I knew at that time my supervisor would take that matter off my hands. But that's not where it ends. Of course, the supervisor accepted the product back, and after explaining to her the policy and all that, and did some sort of a refund. So it's again keeping your eye on that customer and say, hey, was she able to resolve that? Oh, I'm glad. There's wrapping it up nicely. That's what I'll call it, because you need to make sure that that person feels that you were with them from the beginning of that journey till the end. And then like, oh, I'm so glad she was able to return that. Do you want to pick something else? We've got some discounts on this, making that person feel like the most important thing since sliced bread was ever invented. So
amazing.
So again, I gave that example during my interviews, and I found a lot of I try to read body language, even though again during interviews, every response you're made to feel like you're doing the right thing. But I could see some heads nodding and some people scribbling on their notes and all that. But my point is, this is a lesson that was picked up in a low-paying retail job that I brought into my interview experience, and I did get that job. Again, now I've moved from retail to I'm now in the NHS as an administrator. So I'm applying those same set of skills that I learned in the retail space. Now I am an administrator. I'm doing a bit of office work, but I'm also I'm on the phones. I'm speaking to patients, and there's nothing more challenging than speaking to the mother of a baby who is frustrated she can't get help for
Wow.
the baby. Because with the team I worked in, we supported children and of course their parents that were between the ages of 0 to 4. And those are like critical age, that's the age in the life of any child. So you're talking to women that have literally just come out of hospital the previous day.
Yeah.
You have to be the epitome of calm,
Empathy.
coordinated.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have empathy, go and borrow it, go and look for it, buy it. Because again, sometimes you could be dealing with moms who have come
Yeah.
out of theater, but they lost the child.
Yeah.
You see, so all those skills I had to, dig deep into me to bring out those, like I said, empathy.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Those are skills that people think, oh, it's just for you to be kind. No, empathy is not kindness. Empathy is more than kindness. Empathy is stepping into the shoes of that person, feeling what they feel, being with them, supporting them, walking them through that, journey. That is empathy. It's not just, oh, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. No, it's trying to see, it's going one step further to trying to see how you can resolve, if it's within your power to resolve that issue for that person. So it's digging deep, bringing out those skills. Again, conflict resolution came into play again.
Amazing.
You give them appointments on a particular, oh no, I don't want to do that appointment. They've canceled 4 times. And you maybe according to the policy, you can't afford you can't offer any other appointments. I'm like, but my child needs the support. But my child needs the, so what am I gonna do? With my appointments.
Oh my gosh.
So again, this is where it comes into play. So I really understand how you feel, but within my power, I won't be able to do anything. But here's the thing: it's okay if I put you on hold and just see if I can quickly get through to the health.
Yes.
I'd like to offer you another point. Is that okay? I'll give you a call back. Those are things that
see. And I like what you said because it's very, very powerful. You see, it takes the rocket science-ness out of all these technical jobs, right? And I know you're a project manager. I'm a project manager, and I've seen people who work in the banking sector. They didn't have to go and restart anywhere. They transferred their skill into a new environment, and they moved in. I just coached a lady who is into tech sales, and I didn't tell her to go and tell lie. I said, tell me the project you have done. And I mapped it out and I showed her transferable skill and all of that. And she was going to interviews, not feeling like a fish out of the water because she feels that I've done this thing before. I know stakeholder engagement. I know problem solving. I know, like what you're saying, is problem solving skill. And a lot of people have the skill, but they feel as though, and I've been there, it's okay to feel that way. It's because, it's because you don't know, right? And we're telling you this. Yes, you should do some certification. Yes, you should do some boot camp, but not all the time. Because, there's a Yoruba adage that what you're looking for in Sokoto is in your Sokoto, meaning that it's in your pocket, yet you're going to look for it somewhere else. And I guess it's because what you pay for, you value it.
True.
Is what you have that you feel is common. So you don't value it. You want to pay somebody else money for it. And I would like you, to talk about this because they are transferable skills that people can use. You've talked about problem solving, stakeholder management, and a whole lot of them. We have people here that have been on this webinar before. I can see Oluwa Tobiloba. I can see Sunday Olatunji. I think I know that face before, right? And if you have been, I can see Sylvester. I can see what's your name? I just saw you recently, Mr. Olufemi Olayoju. We have people with lots of years of experience. And if you have questions, please put it there. If you have experienced any of this thing, put it in the comment section. And you are confident enough to talk, raise your hand and I'll beckon on you to speak because we want this to be as practical as possible. While other people are coming up with this, you've talked about a lot of things like, problem solving. You talk about imposter syndrome, right? Now, I want you to talk a little bit, if you can give us, how you can frame previous experience, right? That may be unrelated. And like you said, there was something like, sometimes you can see those experiences, or like, oh, you should not give that experience here and all of that. There's a way you can still say it without giving so much detail. And your experience is valid, right? So can you talk us through a couple of all of those things? Oluwatobiloba, I see you, and you're going to speak. Thank you very much for your courage to raise your hand. So actually, can you just talk to us about this?
And about an experience that wasn't related.
That probably in quote probably wasn't related. Okay, I'll give you a typical example. I did a lot of projects in the development sector as well. So, and I'm working, I've done the IT project, but there's a way you can tell development experience in an IT environment without mentioning the detail, and they will see the transferable skill. One guy, Polish guy, told me something. He said that the Brits understand something. They don't say, I don't know. If you ask them a question and they don't know, they'll just talk. They like plain English. Interviews like another IELTS exam. It's your ability to just speak, tell stories. And by the time they speak, they don't mention a little thing that touches what the people want to know. And they'll leave it like that. And the interviewer, like, okay, the person said they have done this before. They told the story, and that's all they need to know. So I don't know if you can share with us an experience from, I did agribusiness project. So how do you tell an agribusiness project experience in an interview without making it sound as though it's totally unrelated? I think that's the way I want to put that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Let me see. So I remember a question during one of my interviews. They asked me, was there a situation where the project didn't go as planned initially? And how did you resolve that problem? And I had to give this example from, again, because you mentioned agriculture, so it took me back there. So one of the projects that I implemented in Nigeria was a digitized extension, agriculture project. So for those of you that might not know what extension services is, like your farm advisor. So you have in Nigeria or in Africa, some governments actually invest money into having agronomists or people that are trained in agriculture support other farmers by stepping down information, knowledge, resources, networking for the farmers to be able to improve their yield and income, right? So this had been done since the inception of extension really in Nigeria, and it was becoming more expensive to implement because the ratio of farmers to extension workers was increasing. At some point it was like 1:5,000. At this point, only God knows how many, because again, government was like slashing the budget for extension workers, and there was a need to bring about a digital approach to. So let me not say there was a need to look to reduce the costs, but to also make it more effective, so reach more farmers, but at a cost-effective and timely manner. So that's where technology comes in, right?
Yeah.
And so we go about designing this product, and we're marketing it, and we're talking to people, and no engagement.
Wow.
By the time the product was ready, for the first like 3 months, there wasn't really any engagement. Like, what's going on? Who did we offend? Like, where did we get it wrong?
Wow.
And one of the things that I found to be very, very useful was, again, it was a combination of like all these skills that I've mentioned. You would not really realize that they might come into play at that point, but again, it's listening. So another communication. So your listening skills, your empathy, because again, we needed for this product to be deemed successful, farmers had to pay for it because it's the first commercialized digital agricultural extension platform. So there had to be evidence of payment. But people have been used to free government services for a while, no matter how poor the service was. So why would they want to pay for it? So again, another issue that we identified was it was mostly men that were, so the few people that were engaging were mostly men. So it was going back to the drawing board to sort of understand why was this happening. Guess what happened? my team, we went down to the states we needed to, we're targeting. So it's not just sitting behind a laptop and doing your analysis and looking at studies.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da. If you check the internet somewhere, there's a picture of me sitting on the floor in Niger State on a mat
Wow.
in front of, one of the rulers of that, village, and they call them the Miangwas. So those of you that are from that area, so me sitting in front of the Miangwa and explaining myself, and not just explaining, but also trying to understand, like, what are the problems? How do we, like, what is the major issue? And then we thought, okay, it's not what we thought it was. They had other,
Mm.
challenges that needed um, uh, um, immediate resolution. So access to inputs was a very critical issue, and this is not something that we would have been able to identify just sitting. Sometimes go, and that was a lesson I learned from my previous place of work in the catering industry. Yes, my boss would spend time sitting with the security man, and you will see them talking for hours, and you're like, what are they talking about? Guess what
Mm.
happens? That security man at the gates is the one that observes when people come in, number of
Yeah.
children they come in with,
Yeah.
what they live with. They literally know more than
That's
we.
market analysis there.
They literally know more than we that are supposedly at the front counter, because again,
Yeah.
it's how they, it's not just that, even in terms of how the staff are relating to people, who is
Yeah.
stealing, who is doing this, who is doing that. It's the man at the man that people least pay attention to. These are
I totally agree. And this thing you're saying is, talking about that transferable skill. I like how you started. You started telling us a story, the context, which is like a star approach,
Yeah.
what the situation is,
Yeah.
what the task, your action was to build an app and all of that.
Yeah.
And you have now jumped and told us you deployed it.
Yeah.
All right. But the results, I'm using restart. The result was that no uptake.
Yeah.
There was a problem. So now you were about to tell us, what did you do
Yeah.
to solve that problem? You went to the grassroots, you went to the last mile. So
Yeah.
what happened and how did you solve that problem?
Yeah. So I started, speaking to the people that, to our target market directly,
Yeah.
speaking to women directly, because again, now they're not involved, they're not engaging. And that was where we began to understand that, that role of the man being the head of the house, it actually also transfers to the farm. So whatever, if they believe that whatever information that is, we need to push to them, just push it to their husband. The husband will step down that information to them. But that's not always, speaking with women directly, you realize that that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes by the time the information gets to the women, it has been watered down. Some parts have been deleted, some parts have been added, and all that. So by onboarding the women now directly, the information that we needed to get was to send out was getting directly to the women. And women are another secret. Let me share. Women are very good influencers. If a woman has made up her mind about, oh, this product is good, forget it. They will sell your product for you.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think they're very committed, they follow through, which is something, but that's another debate. So thank you for giving us that story. Now, how do you tell that story in an interview in such a way that it shows a relevant transferable skill without having to go into the detail, because they may not understand all this, me and go and all of that?
Yeah. So the way I shared that story was, again, like you rightly said, I had to first of all explain the context, because you have to bear in mind sometimes when you use certain words. So when I say influencers for example, in an interview, I had to meet the influencers, you have to break it down. So those are the stakeholders in the organization. So you see what I mean? So
they are stakeholders.
Thank you. So because if you just use certain words, so if I say, for example, if I say just influencers, they might be thinking, oh, social media influencers, lifestyle influencers, those sort of things. So it's breaking down. You have to understand the environment you're in and then use the language of the environment.
Wow, this thing you said is gold, as in it can save somebody in an interview. I've got somebody here. Adania had to just join. I know Ada has a lot of story. I think, is she in? Yeah, she has a lot of story on that. Maybe Ada will come to you if you can share your experience the last couple of weeks. So you've talked about using the language they understand.
Yeah.
And the reality is that The language is very simple.
Yeah.
It's, in fact, they don't like, I think it's we from Africa that like using big words. They don't, if you use big word, they're like, why are you speaking like that? They don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
They want it to be very, very simple.
Yeah.
Break it down.
Yeah, there are some places I will go. I won't even use the word stakeholders. I'll just say the key decision makers. It's just
The way they understand it, the idea, the goal is for them to understand it. Thank you for making and sharing that story. And you see how you can use that same story, stakeholders, the language they understand without having to say the wives, of the farmers. Just don't have to give the whole detail. Oh, this was the problem. You're building in fact, that's a very good example for an IT project.
Oh yes. Because I was going for that particular interview, I was going for an IT role.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Oluwatobiloba, are you in a place where you can talk now? If you're not, then I will just go on. And Shokwe, I know you're here. Thank you for joining us. You've been very, very gracious with your time and all that. And I know you have lots of experience. If you feel the need to, just give me a thumbs up, and I'll be happy to take, to learn from your wealth of experience. A lot of people who are here. And the goal is that, understand this, you have relevant skill. It hurts me when I see people with years of experience. You worked in the banking sector, telco sector, vet sector, right? And you come here and it feels as though you have to start again. All those things are imposter syndrome, confidence, and all of that. But if you can look within, you see that you have the transferable skill. It's how to tell that story, how to tell and be comfortable telling that story. Because when you tell stories, they listen. There's so much like telling stories. And if you understand this thing, game over. They will like you as a person to be on their team all the time. Oluwatobiloba, are you with us?
Hi, yes, good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Shoot. You wanted to tell us your experience.
I also wanted to share my experience, and I also wanted to ask a question. Coming from Nigeria, my background is in journalism, and when I moved to the UK, one of the things I had to learn, just like Chinwe, is transferable skills. So I had to move my transferable skills from journalism to administration, where I work currently. And I was able to dig deep, like I said, having to identify what is within you, those transferable skills to move from journalism to administration, where I've worked for the last 3 years. So now I'm trying to move to another industry again. And I'm sort of like a bit stuck in finding those transferable skills that I need to move from administration to the planning sector. So I don't know if you have like additional tips you could share, or I don't know, because I had one-on-one sessions. Thank you for that, by the way. That was why I was able to put my CV together better and start applying for higher paying roles than where I am currently. Thank you.
Wow.
So can I ask again, what sector are you looking to move to?
Planning.
Planning.
Like project.
Yes.
Personally, I think that's an easy one, because as an administrator, I don't know what environment you're currently in, but as an administrator, I do a lot of coordination, a lot of planning. And by planning, that means, I'll give you a very simple example. We have X number of clinics. They need to be filled by X number of patients, or that clinic gets cancelled. Again, you have to make sure that there is a health visitor or a community nurse that will be available to attend that clinic. So a lot of coordination. Hello, would you be able to do this appointment on so days, take down that note. You're calling the health visitor. Oh, I've been able to get 6 people. Should I book you in for that day, or should I, would that session still go on as planned? And then you're sending out letters, you're sending out reminders. So there's a lot of coordination just around appointments alone. There's a lot of coordination. So it's not just the verbal coordination, it's the written one, because you have to send out letters, you have to send out text message reminders. Then you also have to, there's follow-up as well. You have to follow up with the parent a couple of days before the appointment to confirm that they'll still be there. So again, coordinate. But aside from that, even your day-to-day jobs have to be coordinated. So there's something called the Eisenhower matrix. They will ask you, how do you prioritize your tasks on a daily basis? As an administrator, we always have to do that. So there's the urgent and important, there's the important, not urgent, there's not important, not urgent. You know what I mean? So if you Google it, you find So, for example, if a child is coming up on their 1 year birthday in the next 2 weeks, and the policy says they have to have their 1 year health review before they turn one, I'm not going to book someone that is 6 months. Who, even though the mom has called me today, oh, would you like to give? Can you book my child in for their 1 year review? I said, okay, no problem. I can do that. Is it okay if I just give you a call back once I'm able to find suitable dates? And then keep that on the side. Guess who I'm trying to prioritize now? The mom whose child is turning 2 weeks, 1 year in the next 2 weeks. So it's prioritization. Again, transferable skills. The ability to prioritize. They will always ask you, and they will even ask you, do you have tools, or what are your strategies for prioritization? They've asked me that question in an interview before, and I've said on a day-to-day basis, I use the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize my tasks. But on a more long-term basis, I have, maybe on a weekly basis, I have my task list. There's a to-do list on Microsoft's on Outlook. Well, I think it's not Outlook, but it's attached to Outlook, that I use to put timely reminders to like all the things that I need to accomplish for that week. So if I have to book 600 patients between now and Friday, it's on my to-do list, and I assign time. I mentioned all these things. So that's one. There's of course communication. You have to communicate. Which other one? There's problem solving. I mentioned it earlier. So those are things that you can, because we're planning. Thank you for sharing that. So if we're planning, if you get one thing wrong, it can affect the whole project. If you get one timing wrong, it can affect the whole thing. So it's again, how do you problem solve in that, when that happens? Because no matter how perfectly we plan, sometimes things will always go wrong due to maybe internal or external factors, things that don't have anything to do with you. So again, it's highlighting that problem solving skill, is highlighting that scheduling skill. Scheduling. People get paid just to schedule tasks. They're called project planners.
A project administrator exists too. Yeah. SharePoint sites and
apart from the administrator, the planners, just the ones that will say these are tasks, assign resource X, assign. They get just for knowing how to schedule. That's where the project management, the critical path, and all that comes in. But again, these are just some of the things, just from my own experience, and
your experience,
I think can be applied towards the planning sector.
Thank you very much for that. And I realized that two hands that were raised.
In your communication, put the feedback loop.
You see, when they ask you how do you do it, they just want to hear the tools. Like they want to know if you're technical. There's a structured framework you like Eisenhower you just mentioned, and there's a plan, do, check approach. There are lots of them. If you can just say this is how you just follow that structure, whether it's Gantt chart, whether it's a what's they call that in the game, Canva, what you're doing in progress, that's a planning tool already. So you need to be able to just communicate. Again, it's just telling stories and communicating very clearly. So thank you very much for that. And we have Bukola has been one of our most important influencers as well. Like you said, very well. Bukola, what do you have to say? Then I can see Moshope hands as well. That is also Bukola. Just 1 minute, then I will take a Bukola Shope as well. Thank you. Okay. Bukola, are you no longer available to talk? I can't hear you. All right. So while I can't hear you.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. It's just I want to add one of the transferable skills that that affected me recently on an interview I went for. Because when she mentioned the planning, it was an intro exercise that I was given, and I was given a mandate to plot on MSP, because the project is in a construction industry. That's my field. If you remember very well, I love planning.
I remember.
But this particular day, the mandate that was given, I had a mistake I did, which affected the end date of the planning. And so when the feedback came, in fact, I did fantastically well. But because of this particular one, it was that attention to details. That left me off that job. I couldn't get the job. Everything, every skill that I have, even from the IT experience, I was able to use all the transferable skills. in the intro exercise, I did it very well. I mapped it out on the MSP. It was done, but because of a particular task which I didn't pay attention to carefully, and I misinterpreted that
Mm.
task.
Mm.
That didn't land me the job. And that was why they came back to say it was an attention to detail that didn't make it. So
Wow.
I just want everybody to be careful and to
Mhm.
always make sure that they understood. In the intro exercise, I did to my best on the MSP
Mhm.
plan, and
Mhm.
they gave me the opportunity to also interpret what I have done, and they
Mhm.
were like, they saw that I knew this thing very well. I gave them, as a building technologist that I am, and it's a building, it's so easy for me to like tell you, okay,
Mhm.
you do this after electrical, you do painting, you do all your fixtures and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But because a statement just, I was
Mm.
just like, I used my Nigerian mentality. I totally forgot that, oh, the country has changed. And I use a surface
Mm.
context to interpret it, not forgetting the fact that, oh, I'm in the UK now. Every
Mm.
every of
Every
your
little thing matters.
yeah, yes, the construction method is a little bit different. So,
Amazing.
it pains me because I knew I did so well. Even with the rating, when
Oh,
I got my feedback, it
you
was
see,
very excellent. So I just want to call our
mm,
attention to it, that
to detail,
attention to detail is a
it
good
matters,
transferable skills. I thought I
and
have it perfectly, sincerely,
you still
but
have it.
that
Don't worry.
It was just, I mean, it's a
It's a
mistake, but it's
it's a
very
mistake.
small, really.
Mm.
The fact that you could realize it is a plus for you too.
Yeah, it's
yes,
a plus for
yes,
you. And I tell you what, there's something powerful about your personality, about the energy you bring into an interview. I will tell you what, Moshopa is about to speak, and she's an embodiment of what I'm about to. What, in fact, I'll leave her to say it, because trust me, if you heighten this other part of your personality, they'll give you the job. Even with that, is that thing you just mentioned. Moshopa, please, do you want to speak? I will not talk because you are the one that's
So you have set me
exposed.
off now, Edward. You set me off, honestly. And honestly, Bukola, I think I understand what you've just talked about. And again, I'm going to what Chinwe said about context. So sometimes when you're given, maybe you're asked a question during interviews. I'm not talking like a pro now, because I'm still in the process. I'm still doing interviews to get something better than what I'm doing now. Um, Again, we have to streamline our stories, our experiences to fit in what they want to hear. It's not about what we want to say. Okay. Again, I will always say that it's good to read the person specification, if for example is in the in the NHS, or the job advert properly, because inside it you would see the skills that they want to see, they want to test, from that interview, and that is exactly what you project. So for example, for somebody like me who was coming from the classroom and then coming into the project management space, they want to see something I have done in the classroom that fits into the project management system. So for example, I was asked a question, what skills are you bringing into the team? How I've been able to manage a project and all of that. And then I went straight. As a teacher, I know I've done a lot of things. For example, I've done the STEM project. I've coordinated the STEM project from being the chemistry teacher to being the leader or the head of department from the science department. I just brought a project that I did at that time. And I told them, yeah, I led the STEM project, where students designed eco-friendly water filters using recycled materials. I went on to talk about the task. I said my goal was to manage the project from start to finish. And of course, that's talking about planning the activities, allocating resources, ensuring that the project was completed in time. So these are project management languages. Well, I've actually infused it into the teaching, the teaching story. Okay. And then I went again to talk about the actions that I took in ensuring that this was a success. I said I created a timeline. I divided the task among the students group. I
Mhm.
coordinated with the lab technicians for materials, because of course those are my stakeholders. I monitored progress weekly. I also
Yeah.
ensured that, I organized check-in meetings with the students and all of
Mhm.
that, resolved issues, as time went on with the project. And of course, I lauded my results. If there's anything, like I lauded my
Yeah.
results. I said, say, yeah, the project was completed successfully. We won first place at the school fair. Again, like Edward said, his story, they want to hear story. And as you're talking about the story, you're also imputing the skills. When I finished, I then said, yeah, this experience developed my planning, it developed my coordination and communication skill, problem solving skills were also enhanced. I was praised at the end, So, and, I remember as I said it, they were really happy. They were just nodding, they were smiling, because I took them from the classroom again into the project management. So again, context is very important. And also, like Bukola said, read this person specification, know the skills they want to test, at every point in time. So when you're talking about your results, you loud those skills. Okay. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with us. Ada, you here? You where you can speak. I want you to talk about that story, if you are able to speak, and what it has done for you. While Ada is about to come up, Promise just left, because this conversation today, we have experts in the room. Since Shopper just, like, we didn't advertise and push Shopper's face on it, but she has been here before and she just gave you an experience free of charge. It's about the story. And sometimes you go and in an interview, you can answer all the questions correctly, but your vibe is not just cutting it. Like you don't sound like it's Chiwe, like you want to speak on this.
Yeah, it's true, because I just remembered one of the feedback I got was with this my current role was, you had the right energy. You were excited about what you were talking about. Like, oh, really? In my mind, I was nervous. But yeah, they can pick up of, the sort of vibe and sort of energy you bring to the room. Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that, you see, that story part is very important, and also that you the energy you bring to the room. So I was having a conversation with someone, and I said that I think they also, like, in quotes, an accidental project manager. So they saw the number of degrees and all of that. Okay, Ada, you're here. So Ada, please, I want you to speak before I jump in.
That speaks, because you said I know I used the word accidental project manager, and I just wanted to clarify. You can come into a space accidentally, but your ability to remain in that space rests on you. So even though, yes, someone sent me a JD and asked me to apply for a role, I did the work. I did the courses, because I needed to know what I was going to be talking to experts. I can't afford to sound stupid and embarrass my family lineage. So you have to put in the work. You have to ensure that you're always upskilling at every given time. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much for adding that context. Sorry, Bukola, you had spoken. We just want to give a lot of people a lot of opportunity to speak. All right. So if other people are not coming, then I'll come back to you if that's okay. Please. I see you, I hear you, and I do appreciate that you want to contribute. But we want to also get other people in. So please, Ada, please, do you want to just jump in now?
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. So you guys contributions have been so wonderful, and I have some take home. So I wanted to talk about the interview I had recently, just to buttress the transferable skills and personality. For one of the interviews I had last week, I was nervous. My voice was quivering up for the first part of it, and I was embarrassed that I was nervous for the interview. The questions that were being asked, I was trying to get myself settled enough to give the response. And I met that interview up, let me just say that. But the second one I had later on, I took what Edward told me about storytelling. It's very, very important. Like, you need to have, what you're saying needs to be relatable. Your language needs to be relatable. You know the job description, you have the skills, you know what to do if you're given the opportunity to work that role. But you need to be able to answer questions in a way that is relatable, and that your skills in telling your story, that you can actually tell them in that story that you can do the job and you're the best person for the role. So one of the ones I did, I was nervous at first, because normally I'm an introverted person. I'm quiet. I have this very reserved personality. But once I am in a workspace, I adopt an extroverted personality. So for this second job interview that I did, I started by telling this man a story. I was smiling. In fact, all my 32 were showing. I was telling him the story of how I first started in data analytics, how I'm a very curious person naturally, and how I just told this story and told this story, and this man was smiling. I told him I come from Nigeria, see what happened. And in the course of me talking, my nervousness disappeared. I don't know what it went to, but I was able to tell this story by, the project itself was even in healthcare, and I'm going into a different sector. So I pieced from my experience in this particular project in healthcare, and then added another story from another project I did in retail. And at the end of it, when I finished, the man was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so amazing! I like that your output oriented just like me. I think you fit into my team." And I was so happy. He was happy. And after the interview, I was feeling very, very exhausted because I'm not extroverted. I am very
Yeah.
introverted. So I kept my language very relatable, and I used storytelling to just tell how my skills would be a great fit for the team. So yeah.
And what happened afterwards? The next phase of the interview, you were shortlisted,
Yeah,
right?
I was shortlisted for the next phase, the last phase of the interview. So I'm really, really happy for that.
Congrats.
Amazing. So you see somebody move from place where they're nervous and all that. And what took away that is that talk about your story. I mean, there was an interview somebody went to and they gave them the question. They're like, we want you to be prepared. And you see, I walked the person through this and I said, talk about how you transition from another role. And that said something. She studied economics, went to do something as masters, and went to do data analytics. She had to connect it. It's in that storytelling. They don't just want to see, okay, food science, and all of a sudden you are now in MBA. Like, where's that coming from? I studied physics, physics, MBA, and I'm doing a DBA. Like, where's that coming from? They want to hear the story. And just, I was curious, or because I was good here, then I moved here. They just want to hear it and see that I connect that. It's not just somebody randomly on the street that they just want to hear that story. And when you tell story, the people connect with you. That's another thing. Once you have that connection, trust me, you can tell if you're moving to the next phase of the interview.
Yeah, and another thing, being real, being yourself.
Authentic.
If you present an alternative personality from what you currently have, people can easily tell, because by the time they ask you one or two follow-up questions, you won't be able to sustain that energy, to be
honestly.
So, yeah,
that's why you have to be real. So we have Promise on the call. We still have about 20 minutes, but we'll be wrapping up shortly. We have Promise on the call. Promise it works for one of the big five in Nigeria, one of the consulting, and it's in the UK as well. Promise, are you here? My guy, we met at 8 p.m. I said, my Nigeria brother. And we are here. He joined the call. He's back. Are you where you can speak? I want you to share your story. Promise has left, and I can transition from job to job in the UK as well. And Promise, are you there?
Hi, Hedy. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chinwe. Good afternoon, Dania. Good afternoon, everyone. Eddie, it's such a wonderful experience to get to join your platform and today from the last times that we've met. I think I should just add context to how Eddie has been, how we've met. It's been like, how long now? Is it going to 2 years already?
Yes, yeah. 2 years.
Yeah. So just like Eddie and most people, I came to the UK via a master's program. I used to be a finance professional in Nigeria till, well, the last two roles in Nigeria was about research and market analysts. So a part of me was already trying to transition into the tech space. And the moment I came in to do a master's in international business with data analytics, I just knew I had to do it. And somehow, some way, the moment I was graduating, I was able to land about 4 different roles in tech. At the very period, just 1 month after graduation, and every single thing that we've all put together here all makes sense. On a high level, I would say having that preparation about being specific with the target role that you want to go to. You cannot be going to data analysts, data scientists, business analysts. You can't do all the roles. So pick a particular part, and that's one thing that helped me. I picked business analysis, and I'm like, anything that comes around it. We have different perspectives of business analysis. You can be going through the data perspective. You can be going into maybe an agile role. You can be going through maybe a typical normal BA that does basically work in change, right? That's something I was able to really streamline. And did I go for mentorship? Honestly, mentorship was very, very key. And he's also going to talk about what we use about mentorship. The way I learned business analysis was to really be very community focused. I attended a few programs, like one of the ones that I met Eddie. But one thing that stood out was, as I was learning, as I was mentoring, I was taking my mentorship sessions with different mentors that organize mentorship programs. I was talking about business analysis as if I am hawking tomato and pepper on LinkedIn. So,
Wow.
and what that did was, there were people that are from our immigrant communities that saw this energy, that saw this drive, and they're like, okay, it seems you're currently doing your master's. Okay, I'll take you as my intern while I was in school. I'm a consultant, work with my company, and I'll feast on your visibility, right? We did a swap deal, and I did that for 6 months. Now, this was me when I was still studying. I had not finished my master's. So it gave me that platform where, at the very moment when I was finishing my master's program, I was interview ready.
Mm.
Yeah, so I was able to learn typical business analysis from all my previous learning journey that I've been learning,
Yeah.
put it into all my practical experience. So rather than using my market control experience in the Nigerian exchange, rather than using the research analyst from the capital market tech company that I last worked with, man, I've worked in BA practically. So
Yeah. Skill.
why don't I use these things and make a project from them? So I was able to learn how to really bring all those things together,
Check out.
use the project, and started interviewing. Now, this is the
Um,
tough part, where you start interviewing and you are like, you put on the very hot spot.
Yeah.
And I mean, what you were, well, in the last speaker, I don't know if it was Chinwe or Adan, I can't remember. It was Chinwe or Adania, where you talked about bringing your personality to talk about a story, from a teaching perspective. So I recall one interview. He said, okay, how did you really come up being a business analyst? I told him I'm a finance professional. I am very analytical. It's one of my very solid strengths. And I worked in finance systems. I've worked with operations, and I've really sort of really brought it into systems. That story now established my narrative as a talking point, where I was able to then talk through the entire project. Till I came to the UK, I still maintained the same format. And bringing your personality to the front of this whole conversation is one way to really get along with it. So using my experience, I met a lot of mentors, and I had accountability partners that we were interviewing together. Like,
Amazing.
these are people that are
Challenging
applying for jobs.
yourselves.
Yes, I have an interview. Alpha, Timmy, what are we going to do? Okay. Timmy takes my job role, drafts top 10, 15 questions for the role, and I'm on the hot seat with 2 other of my friends, and they're throwing me
Wow.
questions back and forth. So
Wow.
you're getting ready. You're already
Dry
feeling
run,
that
like
heat.
we call it in consulting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're doing that before you get to the main day itself. Okay,
You
they give
see,
you present. Go ahead, Eddie.
man, this you said is, and I think some people who have gone a lot of boot, you don't need another boot camp. If you've done all of that, you'll be able to transfer your skill. This part is how you really gain that confidence, because you have to do that dry run. Because I mean, it's a crime for you to go in an interview and what you are saying, even you're hearing for the first time. You know, your personality will not be there. And they say, and the Brits, they say that they don't connect. Why? Your presentation lacks soul. Is
Yeah.
your story and your backstory and all of that. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear you messed up. Oh, I had the first picture was a flop. I want, but this is what I did too. You just be authentic. They want to see that. Chinwe, like, you want to say something? I can see Faith, and after Chinwe, Faith will
I had
come in.
15 questions. My interview before this one that I got this right, I had 75. By the next interview, I had over 100 questions, and I sat down, wrote my responses to each question, and made sure that there was a story for every response. And again, in terms of even crafting that story, you have to also do a little bit of psychology. You could go into the organization's values, their ethos, mission statement, find a way to link your stories to that mission, to that vision, to those values. I did it in my last interview. I said, again, this is something, after I had said, mentioned my, giving my story and everything, I said, again, this is something that the NHS values very, seriously, that issue of integrity. And it's something that I hold very dear to my heart.
You sell yourself.
I'm telling you, you have to find a way to link it to something that, they hold, dearly. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Faith, you raise your hand. We'll take Faith. And if you cannot raise your hand, it's okay. Just drop a question. But if this has been quite interesting, interactive, put in the comment section if you have learned a lot. And talking about the community, I put in the comment section, join Marketly Hub. We share information. We webinars like this, it's not paid for, right? So please, just so that you're updated, job opportunity, we share there. And if we're doing anything, put the cohort together. Femi has been there, Sylvester has been there, Adania has been in some of our inner circle cohorts, so that you can, it's not another boot camp. No, see, what you have is already enough. How can you transfer it is what we're looking for. Thank you very much, Shokwe. Faith, what do you want to say?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
I just wanted to say, I'm actually very grateful for this session because presently I am one of those people that at that stage where they are like trying to get into project management, and at this point you hear a lot of things. You hear things like, oh, you don't have the experience, oh, it's difficult, this and that. Actually, I woke up this morning and that was what was on my mind. I was so disturbed, like, how am I going to pull through? How am I going to survive? But then I wasn't even aware of this meeting. The group chat was tagged. That was when I saw it, and then I joined immediately. I was about 11 minutes late. But I just want to say that this has actually been very encouraging. Like, you people do not understand what this meeting is doing for me right now, because I literally woke up this morning. I was so scared. I even cried because I'm like, where am I even going to start from? Because previously in Nigeria, I worked as a case processing officer in a travel agency. What that means is that I used to work on applications like visa applications, Canada PR applications, and all that. And then coming to the UK, being that I actually have like science background, I'm currently studying public health, but then I'm taking a course in project management as it is. And also, I was able to get like a voluntary role as an event organizer, which I'm yet to actually start my first project. I'm waiting for them to like get back to me. And also I'm also like doing like a mentorship program. There's someone that is mentoring me and project management and all that. So all these together, I was actually feeling like I wasn't like doing enough. I was actually thinking of other ways that I could, just improve on myself so I can have more opportunities. But with this meeting right now, first of all, I'm grateful, so grateful. And also, I've also been able to understand the importance of transferable skills, like ability for me to transfer some of those experience. Like with everything you said, I actually noticed that based on the work I did in Nigeria as a case processing officer, there are things that I can actually transfer and like become like a project manager. So I just want to say thank you. I know I'm talking a lot, I'm blabbing, so I just want to
You're
say,
not blabbing. This is
I
a
just
safe
want to say,
space.
Yeah.
And if you're the
I
only
just
one
want to
that
say
came to
thank
this
you. I
webinar,
just
we
want
are
to say
so
thank you.
thankful.
Yeah.
This is very
Edward,
encouraging.
you asked me what I was thankful for this morning, and I said, even if it's just the privilege of being, being able to impact one person's life, I think I can now add, I'm thankful for faith.
Amazing.
Thank you
Faith,
so
thank you
much.
for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story with us. It
Yes,
took a lot of courage to say that,
yes.
Yeah.
and we do not take it for granted. And the reason why we keep on doing this is so that we just know that we're not alone, because you're in your room and those dark days, those conversations, like I said, it's only you and your pillow that knows the tears, the like, I can't take it anymore, and all of that. Everybody has, don't let anybody kid you. Forget it, whether we're our Mark and Spencer shirts or our Primark shirts, and we look good on the outside. The reality is that we all go through this thing, but if we know how to get out of it, like I said, if you're going through hell, don't stop. And we're happy that you learned this. So
Yeah.
community, it mustn't be markedly up. Thankful you have your community. Please go on. All right, learn the thing. The job is going to come. I've put in the comment section volunteering places you can do. Scottish Tech Army is one of them. I'm in Scotland, so this is what I know. If you know any other one, please, it's about giving out more opportunities, right? they put you on a project and you just go there. If you're already done a boot camp, or you can really transfer your skill, get on the project as a BA, as a project manager, stakeholder engagement person. And there are some roles that is not having in quote business analysis or project manager as a title, but it's still project management. Anybody who has you moved to UK is projects. You
Yeah.
go,
And I just wanted to add that don't be too hard on yourself, Faith. You're doing all the right things. You're talking to someone who moved from a band 2 admin job to a band 6 project management role. It's possible. So it doesn't always happen, but it's possible. And you're doing all the right things. So just
wow.
stay.
And you got sponsorship, so you didn't have
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So
And I
Wow.
it's
Thank you
yeah,
very much. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Faith. Wow. I'm also touched by your story. So again, you have any questions, please? This is why we do this. I just want to say thank you, Ada. Thank you, Promise. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Bukola. Thank you, Shokwe. Thank you, Oluwatobi Loba. Thank you, Chinwe, for sharing with us. All right. Muftal, yeah, I saw Arinze as well. Muftal is somebody who is not new to this place. Femi Olayonju said, thanks for our vulnerability. Thank you for joining as well. This has absolutely been amazing. That's why we do it. So
Yeah.
find a community, rehearse. See, I think it's, if you ask me, one of the or three things, right? I'll put a question in the comment section so that those who want to really say something can say something about this. All right. The question is, Promise Shokwe, if you're still here, I think Shokwe has left, but she's still here. Fine. Promise Shokwe and Chinwe, I want you to think about this question while I wrap up this my line of thought. The question is, if someone is listening, feels underqualified right now, what's one practical step they can take this week to start building that confidence? Because you can have that master's degree and the confidence is you're looking for it. Yeah, your battery's is even fuller than your confidence. Like that's true. So what's that one thing, all right, that you can tell somebody to do? I know we are sharing our story, but one or three things, maximum three, okay? So think about it, Shopware, Promise, and Chinwe. But I'll just say this. In my own story, it was when I learned to see what was important, study the job description like my life depended on it, because really your life depends on it. Your family's life depends on it. And speak to that person's specification. All right. Look for the relatable story. All right. And rehearse that communication. Just rehearse over and over. Find somebody you can do that dry run with, because it gives you that confidence, as well. So that's one of the things I would say. I've put in the comment section, you want to join the community, follow me on LinkedIn as well. Just my name, Edward Enejo. Send me a DM. If you join the community, you can send me a DM, and if there's any way we can provide support, we will support you. So Chinwe, Promise, Mo, Moshope, if you have anything you want to say to that question or that last thing I said.
I would say you can't give what you don't have, right? So the first thing to do is acquire the knowledge so that, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So it's what you have inside that you can give out.
Yeah.
Second step is some people have it and do not know that, or are not confident enough to put out what they have. This is where, let me borrow Edward's language. This is where you do the delulu thing. Yeah, you have to have your affirmations. You have to speak to yourself. You have to brainwash yourself. You are the best the world has ever known. Like Shopper said, I'm here to stay. Like they need me. There's something I have the world needs. There's a reason I'm here. I cannot fail. There's no option B. There's no plan B. It is succeed or succeed. So you have to have all the sort of affirmations, you have to, positively brainwash yourself into believing and, seeing that picture, that mental picture of what you want your future to be. And then thirdly, remove all forms of negativity from your life. Sometimes friends and family mean well, but because they don't see life through the lens that you see, they might give you contrary advice. I'll give you an example. If I'd left my father to run my life like the way he envisioned in terms of my career, okay, let me say my career, I'd have been a civil servant in Nigeria working towards pension. Yeah. So sometimes I deliberately did not allow him influence my career decisions. So sometimes you get people that would, they would say, I had friends that were sending me JD for, those roles that quick. I don't want to mention the role, but we know the roles here that quickly get COS, sharp, 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 sharp. And I will appreciate them and then I'll thank them, but eyes on the price. Eyes on the price. They love you, they want to help you, but
Yeah.
if it's not your vision for your life, you have to find a way to filter out the noise and stay focused.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that. Promise, Shope, you have anything to say to this? For somebody who is, feeling down right now, they lack the confidence. What's that practical thing they can do this week, not tomorrow. In fact, after this call, right? Because we need people, we need to have that clarity and all of that.
Faith hands, is it a new hand, Faith?
No, it's the old hand. I will just bring it up for her.
So this week,
Mm.
this week, I want to use this opportunity to encourage someone out there. I think this has not one of those motivational quotes, but you'd have to go again. You'd have to go again. Just look at it from this perspective that nothing is really going to be given. You'd have to take from it, and for that to happen, all these things will have to be what would have to walk through. Getting yourself ready. And I'm not going to lie, if we ever tell you it's easy, it's a very huge lie. Yes, there'll be days where you'd feel like you've hit that rock and you've had that interview and you thought you had it.
Yeah.
And you get a message that tells you, hey, you were not picked, you were not this. But remember why you started. Remember yourself, what you've actually given as your personal identity. And self-reflect where you can. And there are days you'd self-reflect and you'd understand that no, you are not the problem. Speak to your friends, your very good friends, your friends that are always going to be there no matter what, and they're going to assess you and say, okay, this is where you did wrong, this is where you could do right. Let's continue again. The more opportunities you're going to create out there, the chances of you getting that role that you seek is going to come. But just hang in there and keep pushing. That's what I just want to say to everybody from listening to my voice and just getting along. So this is coming from practical experience, like it is. So and the fact that you're willing to start early, and it means you'd adjust and getting that 1 year that you're looking for. Well done.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that. I often tell people, especially when you just feel like I can't take it anymore, I'm exhausted. I was like, you can't get hired for a job you didn't apply for. So those moments you're taking a step back, it's good, take the step back, but stand up and pick yourself back up and come again.
Yeah.
So because how would you be called for the interview? I don't know about any other place. If you're not from Nigeria, they say, oh, I got a job with that, interview and all that. It's because you knew somebody's relationship you were leveraging on. Here, it's not relationship. You have to show up for the interview. Yes, some cases it happens, but again, you still have to apply. So thanks for that. Shope, you want to say something?
Just to add to what everybody have spoken about, like what I tell my friends, what I told myself, when I was getting the unfortunate news, and then from experiences of some of my friends who interview other people, the truth is we are not as bad as we think we are.
Yeah.
It's just that the competition is so much and they just have to take one person. So it's not as if you didn't do well. So again, what you need to settle in your mind is there is no going back. We die here. We die there. No giving up. To be honest, because the unfortunities will come, but the truth is they don't define you. They will only refine you. I don't know if I'm speaking like your PDK at this moment.
Yeah.
So keep applying, keep growing. you know, the man who spoke before me said, introspect, you know, look within, what else can I do better? It's okay. Sometimes that's not even the solution, but you just need to, you know, do something new and say, yeah, let me look at, okay, what else can I do? But the truth is, you're sometimes doing the right thing. It's just that you've not gotten there. So keep applying, keep showing up. Don't say, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop applying. I'm even tired. Just keep showing up. Edward said you can't get a job that you didn't apply for. So if you don't apply for it, then how do you get the job? So keep showing up. Every no is just a step closer to your yes. Don't let disappointment make you doubt your potential. No, because imposter syndrome will come in so many times, but you know the disappointment must not doubt you. What's ahead is far greater than what's behind you. Sometimes, yes, the rejection, you know, is simply just, you know, God redirecting your steps. Maybe you're looking at IT, but God is saying, I want you in the clinical, you know, project management, you know, sector. I want you somewhere else. You know, just like Chinwe has shared, you know, it's just a reminder sometimes, you know, those knows that God's timing is perfect. I'm talking like pastor now. God's timing is perfect and his plans for
We need
you
it.
are just unfolding gradually. So hold your head high, stay consistent, and just keep believing in the value you bring. Definitely the doors will open, opportunities will come, and when they do, you will see why you had kept yourself pressing forward and forward. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. That has been very, very powerful. I really appreciate that as well. We just have to hold yourself up and all that. Oluwa Bukolami. Faith, I have a scholarship for you. I have this Get Hired Faster 5-day challenge, and a lot of people have taken the course here, or some people have taken it, not all. And just follow me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. I'm going to put the link there. And if it's 5-day. We're not going to even give you a link, access it. I talk about practical things, and I want to give it to you because you were courageous to share your story with us. And if I'm able to be part of, you know, helping you get to where you're going to, you'll be blessing me. So I just want to do that. So follow me on LinkedIn, send me a DM, and that'll be great. So yeah. So
Oh
Chinwe,
my
you wanted to
God,
say
thank
something?
you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Yeah.
Again, just to encourage someone out there, it's most times it's not you. It's just they're looking for someone who fits a certain mold. I'll give you an example. It was after I got my job, my line manager told me, "I'm so happy we got you. You write, I speak, we're perfect."
Wow.
Like that was just, she said, I was just looking for someone who can bring out my thoughts and document them on paper. You do that excellently.
Wow.
So sometimes it's not because you don't know the job. It's just there's
Mhm.
a gap. There's something you're looking for, and yeah, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oluwa Bukola, I'm sorry, I missed the line of thought. So yeah, you want to say something?
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Edward. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So it's my first time joining this session and it's been quite insightful. So I don't know if this is a safe space. I have a question that has been bothering me. So recently I completed my project management training with TriTech, and we built an admin portal for a company that was transitioning from legacy manual operations to a cloud-based um
Solution.
like yeah, cloud-based solutions. So I've been applying to roles, and to be honest, I'm based in Nigeria, so I don't want to apply to Nigerian roles because every time I come across the job descriptions, they're like they are looking for one person to take on the roles of about 3 to 5 people. So it's been quite discouraging, and then the pay is quite low. And so I've been applying to UK roles, and I got shortlisted once, but I was ghosted. So I went back to my CV to check what I've been doing wrong. And then I realized that I didn't frame my experience the way I should have framed it. So my CV shows that I worked on a project where the company was moving from a manual mode of operation to a digital mode of operation, but I didn't state that it was a cloud and digital transformation project. Like basically the tools that we used, the people, the teams that I worked with, it was not evident in my CV. So once I figured out what the problem was, I rewrote my CV. I wrote the outcomes, the metrics, everything that I felt like, okay, they needed. So some days back, I applied to another role and I searched for the recruiter. I came across who I didn't think was hiring for the role. I thought he was hiring for commercial roles. So I sent him a message anyway and asked if he could connect me to the person that was hiring for the role. And then he told me that the role was sitting with him and he had come across my CV and he thinks that I am a good fit for the role. But I think yesterday I got a mail that they had to move on to someone else, and then have just been disappointed because it was the first time I was getting like a positive feedback from a recruiter, and then only for my hopes to be shattered. So I don't know if me applying from Nigeria is a dream that is not achievable. Maybe I'm dreaming too high. I know it feels like, okay, I'm being pessimistic, but that's how I've been feeling lately, and I don't know how to shake off that feeling from myself. But then I saw that everyone has been vulnerable in one way or the other, and I saw that at some point they are relieved. So I just felt like, okay, I need to talk, I need to get this off my mind. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I am dreaming too high. I don't just know, because right now the rejection is getting to me. And I don't know how to handle it. I mean, before I rewrote my CV, I'd applied to about 50 roles and I was rejected. And then even before I wrote my CV, I was shortlisted once. So I was kind of comforted that, okay, I am being seen. And sometimes I tracked my applications and I saw that, okay, I made it past maybe the 8 years that was like, I made it to the in review stage because I was tracking them, and then they didn't go further than that. So when I wrote my CV and then I actually connected to a recruiter that said he saw it and he said he thinks that, okay, it's a good fit. I feel like I'm on the right track, but I just really want to know if it's not possible for me to get that job, like for me to get an international role, basically. So that's what I just want to know. Thank you.
Nothing is impossible, number one. Number two, Edward, I think at this time we need to be giving out membership cards for those that have applied to more than 300 jobs. We give you honorary membership. No, so it's something that's not just happening to you. It's also a UK thing, right? It's not because you're in Nigeria, although that could be, your address could be a contributing factor. I have to be honest with you. It could be a contributing factor. At some point, I was told to take out my address in my applications, and there are some application systems that don't even that allow you apply anonymously, so you won't even need to put your location or your address. I think they've, to an extent, that could be a factor, but again, nothing is impossible. And then again, we tried tech, because I did try tech as well. I want to ask, what company did you put in the in your CV? Because if you put try tech, a lot of organizations are flagging try tech. So there are other, there are different companies under try tech that you implement your projects through. So you might want to use again, speak with your contact in TriTech and then find out what name they want you, what company you're applying to, instead of using TriTech.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Thank you
Can
very
I add something to that?
Yes,
Can
please.
I? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's also my TriTech person too. I also did TriTech, and like Chinwe said, TriTech is already on the lookout. I don't know, negatively or positively. So I would advise that rather than run away from those small jobs, small paying jobs, but with more responsibilities, just take it. Sometimes you want to get real life experience. Yeah, TriTech gave you an experience, but to be honest, we all know that it's not that, of an experience, really. You need something to really get your hands dirty. And sometimes it might come from that small money job that they will just give you maybe 100,000, 80,000 naira per month, but you're getting the experiences, you're getting the skills. And to be honest, I know of somebody who got a job, a band 8 project manager. She was brought in from Nigeria to the UK. So really, there's nothing that is impossible. I would just say that you need to do something that makes you stand out because there are a lot of people here in the UK who are also qualified, have not gotten in. So
Yeah.
what makes you stand out? What makes you different from them? So you've got to add that extra. If all of us here are getting say 80, you have to get 99, you know, to actually make somebody sponsor you from Nigeria to the UK. It's not impossible, but it takes a lot of effort. So Tritech alone, the experience alone from Tritech, I don't think, I'm going to be realistic here, I don't think it's enough to bring you here. You've got to do more.
Yeah. And I know you've done 50 applications. At some point, I committed to doing one application a day for over 18 months. So that should do the math. That was my goal. So for 50, there's still quite a ways to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with us. You're doing all the right things. It's absolutely normal for you to feel this way. I would say that keep at it, because the world has changed. What worked before doesn't really work, and we're creating a new normal. So you may be the first to break that barrier. One of our guests was in Nigeria, got a job in Canada, working remotely, eventually moved to the UK and all of that. So you can get this job, but there's a lot of things that need to shift in, if you were here earlier, how you answer questions in an interview and all, how you tell your stories. So it's not just the experience, all those details, it's your person, and they just need to believe that you can do the work and relate with other people and all of that, because people work with people, not with a skill, not your certificate. It's the people they work with. They're just checking, can I work with you? Can I trust you? Can I connect with you? Like Chinwe said, her manager said, oh, you do the talking, I'll do the writing, or the other way around. So it's like, they just like, I can work with you. That's what they were looking for. And that's it. So they want you to be personable and all of that, tell your story well and stuff. So you're doing the right thing. Party, do not give up. I would want to say, join our community. We just share all of this kind of thing. There are some volunteer roles you can still do to build that experience and all of that. And like I said, to Faith, that I'll give you access to that stuff. So reach out to me for those who are interested in it. I don't usually do this, but if you want to be part of it and maybe sit down with me one-on-one, for the first 5 people who sign up for this Get Hired Faster programs, less than 50, less than 40 something. It's not hundreds. We want people to get a job. So if you sign up for it, I would do a one-on-one with you, 1 hour. Just listen to your story, help you transfer it and all of that. I'm just going to put it here in the comment section. All right. I didn't plan to do this, but with the way we are speaking today, I just thought that maybe this will be helpful. Because sometimes book session, people don't show up. I'm like trying to help people. So okay, all right, let's pay for this program. It's less than how much, but get it. If you want to have a chat with me, then I'll sit down with you. I'm like, okay, I want to hear your story. That's what I was like. When I was speaking with that, I forget about the technical thing. Forget about how you have structured the answer. Tell me your story when you did something. I just started firing. I'm like, see the way you showed up. That is how you need to show up in the next interview. And she showed up, and she got into the next phase of the interview. Honestly, so sometimes it's not adding more stuff. Take away all the excesses and just be comfortable in that your story that you taught. Shopper said she taught people chemistry and she's working with the NHS. Your story is gold. Own your story and really, really be confident in it. And that your confidence and your personality, you'll be hired for. Chiwi, you want to say something? We'll be wrapping up in a few minutes.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm being led to give out the gift of a Udemy course for someone in project management. I don't know who it is. I don't know what course in particular, but Edward, I'll leave it to you to select who that person will be. But if you think a course in some sort of project management related environment on Udemy would be helpful for you, reach out to Edward and he'll let me know.
Reach out to me. You have our emails. If you got this job via an email, if you're not through an email, follow me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. All right. And so thank you, Chinwe, for doing that. That's one of the things we do here. The other lady, Lua Tobiloba, said something that I was able to get the speaker to be on a one-on-one with her. She got her CV right. So that is what we do here, just helping people to succeed. That's the reason we do this, because it means one more person up the ladder, not have to be stuck in the transition, because it's nothing wrong in being in transition jobs. So by the way, please, we honor it. We're not talking down on anybody. No, we don't do that. but don't be stuck there, because like me, when I was doing that customer service job, I used to tell my friend, Shokwe is here, Femi is here. I was like, I'm Femi, thank you for joining in. Femi is the manager in the UK here, one of the biggest brands. You guys probably have used their services before, Wosi Foods, and he's here. And thank you so much for joining. And I used to tell him then, when I just feel frustrated, like, I feel like I'm Lamborghini going 20 miles an hour. Like, I have so much to offer. I can be going 200 and something, but I'm going 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm out of place. And I get that feeling. I get that feeling when you are up in the night and you're just like, what's happening with my life? Did I make a mistake or something? You know, your family deserve more. You are living a better life. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you want to really measure it, you were living a better life. But of course, you have better experience. You don't have to turn on generator in the UK and all of that, right? So you have more time to process things. But if you tell your story right, you package yourself right, then you can get all of those things. And that's why we're doing this. Chinwe, thank you so much for offering that that for us. Udemy course. Anybody wants to start up a career in project management, she bought it. She'll give you access to it so that you can learn. All right, you have to do the work to learn. Promise said something. Interviews, 15 questions. Chinwe said she had 75 questions. And so you can see the rigor. All right, I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday night. It was my wife actually and my friend Alan, and we're talking about, are you ready to make the sacrifice that living in bondage? Sacrifices must be, and you can see how the work people put in. That's the sacrifice. That's like Shopper said, we die here. That spirit of we are going all in, no turning back.
That's the Niger spirit.
That's the Niger spirit, and trust me, they like it. One of our guests was here, and she said she was at the interview, and they said something goes wrong. She said, nothing will go wrong on my watch. The interviewer said, I like that boldness. She said, nothing will go wrong on my watch. She had answered everything correctly. They were like, nothing will go wrong because I will do the right thing. Like, they were like, it means you are on top of your game. So don't let the reality bring down who you really are. Reveal your true self. That Niger spirit, and you'll get the job. All right, there's a job with your name on it. There's a job, but you need to show up like the talent the companies want to hire. Don't let those things just make you lesser than yourself. Show up like that talent. Have all the questions, answers. Show up with that energy, that vibe, and all of that. They will give you the job. They'll just say, shut up and take the offer letter. Where were you all the while? Tell other people to go to their house, So thank you once again, everybody. For those 5 people who sign up for that course, you're going to have a one-on-one session with me. The first 5 only, please. Not everybody. And Faith, please send me a DM. You is a scholarship free. The course is actually £39.99, all right, pounds. So it's not much. You can sign up for it. Less than how many cups of coffee. So sign up for it. And if this has been a blessing to you, please leave a comment. These comments keeps us going. We want to keep on going. We just want to know that, we're making some positive impact in the lives of people. And again, thank you all for joining. Anybody who has 1 or 2 things to say from all of us here? Anybody want to say something? Okay, Faith, I've seen you.
Thank you for having me, Edward. And if you want to follow me, I think I'm more active on Instagram. On my Instagram handle is Chinwe Talks Projects. Very easy to remember. I share useful tips on project management, practical tips. So thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Chinwe. I'm going to share Chinwe's link on the comments here. You can follow her as well, and also follow me on LinkedIn. I've put my comment. Follow me on LinkedIn, and also follow me on IG as well. So please, let's keep in touch. Find a community. If it mustn't be our own, please. We're not here to sell market. It mustn't be our own community. Find a community. Promise talks about how he created the community. Be in a circle so that you don't give up. The days you want to give up, somebody will tell you, go again. And who knows, the next interview may just be the one that, in fact, those interviews, you just go up and just like, did I do well? And they're like, you've gotten the job. All those, unfortunately, have been giving you all those things, and you will be at your best. You don't even know. You just get the job. But you need to be in a community. Find a community, join a community, or create a community. Our community is there if you want to join us. I've put in the comment section. Just be in the inner circle. Follow me on LinkedIn, and I will get back to you as well. So, super. If nobody wants to say anything again, I think that's it. If you want to turn your camera on, let's take a selfie. So let me unpin myself and Chinwe so that we can take a selfie. We just do this to remember today, right? And that we did this and people showed up. So yeah. All right, unpin with the group selfie. Thank you. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much. All right, we're just gonna do it now. Just a minute. All right, let's do the first one. Okay. All right, I want to do it one more time for those who probably blinked. Okay, one more. All right, thank you very much. Okay. So thank you very much. Do have a nice day, and thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah, cheers. Bye. Take
Yes,
care.
bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Bye.
yeah.